Hi guys, so thank you for clicking on this video. I'm going to go into some questions that I've been asked on my social media. I am a Muay Thai fighter. I'm a European champion, British champion, UK ranked #3 fighter. And a week today, I would have landed in Thailand and I'm moving there for 7 months to continue my career in Muay Thai. So I've got a list of questions here and I'm going to go through with them. And if you have any more questions, drop them in the comments below and I'd love to make another video. Maybe when I'm out in Thailand and a bit more settled, I can answer some more questions for you guys. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for all the support in the last few days. It's been mad across my social media. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the guys who have subscribed here. And I hope you enjoy this video. I hope I make sense. I hope I'm not speaking a million miles per hour. So let's see how this goes. So I think some questions I'm going to answer on TikTok and hopefully you can see me doing that here. That's the plan anyway, but I'm going to answer a lot of them on here. I've got a little list here and we're going to go through them. So starting with my journey, what did your early journey into Muay Thai actually look like before the titles and the recognition? So I started Muay Thai for fitness and basically to continue some weight loss, and came across the gym completely by accident with my brother. We weren't planning to do it. It was never on my radar to do a combat sport. And we just so happened to be in the right place at the right time, spotted a poster, and we joined that following week, I'm pretty sure. Both of us still train together at the same gym, and we absolutely love it, obviously. And it's very scary to think that if we didn't see that poster, then our journeys wouldn't have happened. So that sort of stuff is a bit freaky to think about, but I was never really massively into sport or fitness when I was younger. I got on some weight around GCSEs and A-level time. I just thought sport was so boring, not engaging. I hated PE at school. But then you just got to find your own fitness and you got to find your own journey. So definitely found my sport and never looked back, really. Have I faced moments where I've considered walking away, and what kept you going? So definitely, and I think if anyone says they haven't faced this in their fighting career, then they're lying, unfortunately. But yes, definitely. I've had moments where I don't think I'm made for this sport because I haven't come from a sporty background or a competitive background. And because a lot of the time I'm going up against girls who've been doing it since they were tiny and their parents own the gym, or they've been out in Thailand, stuff like that. It gets in your head a little bit and you think you're not good enough and you can't go up against these women. But in actual fact, I've done pretty okay and I've stuck with it. And for me, and this will probably come up later on with the questions, is consistency. I've always made sure I've got a fight booked and I've got enough space between fight camps to have a little bit of a rest, but then we're straight back on it. Sometimes I'm booked for a fight and I'm thinking this is the worst decision in the world and I shouldn't be doing this, but you just keep going. All those bad days, you just stay consistent and eventually you'll get good days. Do you ever not enjoy training? How often? And do you ever consider quitting? So similar question. There are times where I don't enjoy training, especially when the calories are low and it might be freezing cold in the gym and you don't want to go for that run and you've got aches and pains. Yes, definitely. But then again, like I said, you look at the bigger picture and you stay consistent. Something really important there is just always having a team around you who are with you for the ups and downs, and they know how you work and they know to support you in the downs and to just keep you focused and sometimes even distract you, and then back on the right track and you're feeling good again. Me and my teammate Dom, what we say is the rule of thirds, which I believe is quite a well-known methodology when it comes to training or pushing yourself out of the ordinary, pushing yourself to do something a little bit extreme. Is the rule of thirds is your training and your competition should be divided into 3. A third of the time you're feeling okay, middle ground. A third of the time you're feeling the best ever thing in the world. You feel like you're an absolute athlete and you're there to take heads off. And then a third of the time you feel awful, you feel like crap, you feel like you can't continue. As long as you have pretty much equal moments in each of those thirds, you will be okay. And the whole idea is you need it challenging enough that you feel not so good, but you need to enjoy it enough to feel really good. And then you got the days where you're just trucking along and getting on with it. So whenever me and Dom have a bad day, we just say rule of thirds and we remind ourselves it's part of the process and you should continue with the process. Do you balance physical training with mental resilience, especially after losses or injuries. Now that's really interesting. I haven't quite tapped into the mental resilience side as much as I should. And I know there's mind coaches out there and people that can help you with manifestations and stuff like that. So I've definitely tried to lean more into that in recent months, especially with my last fight. I knew it was a tough fight, so I needed to be strong up here. So I'd say my balance isn't too good at the moment, and I'd love to work on that in the next year, because if you don't have your mind, and you could be the fittest, strongest thing in the world, you're not going to perform in the ring. So that's definitely something I need to work on. I think in Thailand that will be something really important. And I guess next to that is resting, taking proper full rest days and letting your body heal, because if you don't rest, you won't improve. So definitely make sure you take your rest days. Do you practice or have techniques to mentally prepare for your fights? Again, I just visualize. My thing is visually seeing my opponent standing across me from the ring. I don't know why. I just always place myself in that moment and see them and not be intimidated by them. You can big your opponents up in your head all the time, and it can be really quite severe sometimes for me. But if I see them across the ring and you just see that they are a human being, they're not made of steel, they bleed just like anyone else, then I think that helps me definitely. And I also go over my walkout in my head, and I think that helps me a little bit, because then when I'm doing the walkout, it feels like I've done it 100 times already. And I found doing walkouts for all my fights pretty much, I don't really feel nerves in that moment. You're just in the moment and you absorb it and you enjoy it a little bit, and then it's time to go to work. So that's what I do. Looking back, what advice would you give your younger self at the start of your fighting career? I don't want to keep repeating myself, but stay consistent. Between my first fight, which my debut I lost, I believe I was robbed, but that's another story for a different day. And my second fight, I went away for a holiday with my mum, and I remember sitting across from her at the table at dinner and saying, I don't think fighting's for me. I don't think this is the one, and I should quit. I'm gonna go home and tell my coach to pull me out of the next fight because I don't think I'm made for it, basically. And that's so funny because I'm now 15 fights later, achieved quite a bit in a short space of time, fought some incredible opponents, had some awesome opportunities. And it's so sad to think that part of me back then was fully ready to give up. Do one fight, a debut, I've done it, I've told people I was gonna do it, and then leave. I would have still trained, but my idea was not to fight anymore. So what I tell myself in that moment is to shut up and to just get back to work, and it all works out in the end. There's highs and lows with this sport. You can't have highs all the time, that's impossible. So in that moment, I was a bit naive and a bit young, and I just wanted to be like, no, it's not for me. And I'm very glad I continued, and I'm very glad my head coach persuaded me to continue. So that's quite good. So onto training and my performance, I've got some questions to do with that. So as a multi-time champion, what separates good fighters from champions in your experience? Now this is an interesting one. So I have a WBC British belt, an MTGP European belt, and an ISKA English belt. So I'm a champion across those three governing bodies, you could say. And it took time to build up to that. And my most recent fight was in October 2025, and that was for the European title. So I have taken steps to reach all of those championship belts. And so what separates good fighters from champions in your experience? Good question, to be honest. I think something that's really, really important is quality over quantity in training. I've seen a lot of people putting hours and hours and hours of work, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes their focus is diluted. It's not on fight specifics, or it's not on fight camp, sport specific training. So I'd say that if you're looking to take your fighting further, really dial in on each fight camp, understanding what you're going to focus on for that camp, what you want to achieve in the fight, and not spin too many plates at once. It can be really difficult when you've got so many sessions in a day, but understand that your sport specific training is number one. From there, you can work on your cardio, your HIIT training, your strength and conditioning, but always just value your sport specific training first. I think that's really important. I mean by that is like pad work, one-to-ones with your head coach or a coach, sparring, drills, bag work, stuff like that. Really value those moments, those sessions over anything else. I think that's the best way to explain it. And also a great mindset to be in going into fights is just win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter. Just perform your best. I think that's the best way to explain it. Because in the West, in the UK, in Europe, in America, we really put emphasis on you have to win this fight, it's a 10-week fight camp, and if you don't win the fight, it's the end of the world. It really isn't. And so I think if you take yourself out of that mindset, of course we all want to win, that's why we're doing it, but if you take yourself out and be like, all I want to do is perform my best. Even if I lose the fight, or it's a draw or whatever, as long as I perform my best, I will be happy. I think that's a really good headspace to go into for fights. So I definitely suggest that. How many hours a week do you realistically train when preparing for a fight? And what does that include beyond pad work? So with my last fight camp, I feel like I really dialed in on what I needed to do on each day. And every week was the same. So I knew on a Monday I was doing this, on a Saturday I was doing that, and it was that routine, and I really needed that. And so how many hours a week? I'd have to look back at my like heart rate monitor data and Apple Watch stuff. At least 2 sessions a day in my last fight camp. Some days were 3 sessions. I had a day where I was doing 4 sessions, which I vlogged on Instagram. I'll put a little clip in here. Made sure that I was resting properly, I was eating enough, and I felt good enough to do those sessions. I should disclose I had a part-time job now for pretty much all of my fight camps. So I'd work 3 days a week and have 2 days out of the office. Those are the days where I pick up one-to-one clients. So that gave me the freedom to do extra sessions and find time to get all my work in, if that makes sense. If I did a full 9-to-5 job in an office every day, I wouldn't have done the same work rate. So bear that in mind. What sacrifices have you had to make to compete at this level that people outside the sport rarely see? Bear with, I need to get my cat. Hello, come in. You're gonna disrupt this now, aren't you? Right, my cat is now in the room, so hello. Hi, right. What sacrifices have I made? I think because I've been in this kind of loop of fight camps back to back. Come here then, come here. This is Mimi. She's already made an appearance on the YouTube channel, as you can see. Very attention seeking. She knows I'm talking to a camera or someone or something, so she's gonna get her ass in the way. Sacrifices have I made? Hello, do you wanna come here? Oh my Lord. I think for me, for example, the part-time job I just mentioned, I understood that I would be earning less. But my training first before my career, as in my career in marketing is what I was doing. So that's a sacrifice I made. I knew I'd be earning less each month in order to live out this dream. I was okay with that and I made it work. It's to do with like family, been like birthdays. I've been in a fight camp in my birthday. It was my grand's 90th birthday and I was 1 week out from a fight, and it was this giant roast dinner with cake and cheeses and all sorts, and I literally had chicken and veg, this pub, and then my pudding was berries. So stuff like that where I felt like I couldn't quite join in. But do make it work, and as long as you're okay with it in your head, you kind of make it work. And in terms of like sacrifices, amount of time I'm at the gym and training and teaching and helping out, it takes away from my life a little bit, but it's a way to give back and it's a way to stay part of the sport. So pros and cons to all of it, but right now all the sacrifices I've made have led to me being able to travel and go to Thailand. So yeah. What role do recovery, body maintenance and injury prevention play in your longevity as a fighter? So something that I've started the last 18 months or so and really lent into is my strength and conditioning training. I have a coach called Rupert, who is a master at strength and conditioning, and he has taken me from not being very well versed in it and not really being very efficient with my body to now we're really dialing it in and we're lifting heavy and we're moving more like an athlete and more explosive, which helps My sport specific stuff, you know, be more powerful on the pads. I can go for longer duration, feel stronger in my stature, if that makes sense. Like I feel like my knees and my ankles, neck, they're all more primed for training and for competing. And I remember a fight I had end of 2024, I went to go kick, so my right body kick was landing on her. She kicked out my standing leg and I felt my ankle just kind of go bop like that. And in that split second, I was like, I've broken my ankle. But actually I just rolled it ever so slightly. Then I could carry on and I was fine. I didn't show any signs of pain or anything like that. But I feel like if I didn't do strength training, I wouldn't have had enough base, balance, composure, control to take that kick and be okay. So I genuinely think moments like that where I'm like, old me would have been in pain from that. New me is fine and we deal with it and we crack on basically. So yeah, training is huge for body maintenance, recovery, injury prevention. I highly recommend getting into it. Even if it's just one session a week, you're teaching your body something for longevity in fighting and in life. I've had a question about how did I get a DTV visa, which is the visa I'll be getting out in Thailand. I will film and vlog all of that process when I'm there. The gym owner and his wife are going to help me do that when I'm there. So I will record that. This question, which I think is really sweet to finish this on, is how old were you when you started Muay Thai? Starting at 23, is it too late to become ranked in the future? So I started at 20, from literally 20, nearly 21, literally knew nothing. I did judo in year 6 and I thought that was like really, really important when I turned up to my first Muay Thai lesson. It really isn't. Age is just a number, honestly, and I know a lot of people say that, and I hope I'm proof to show that you can start really late. I wasn't even a teenager. You can still go far in the sport and you can achieve rankings, definitely. There's women who are ranked recent years, I think they've been close to 40 and they're still smashing it and they're having fights every month and stuff like that. So yeah, stick with it. Keep your eyes focused on what you want to achieve. If you want to be ranked, go for it. You could be ranked in 10 fights, I'd say, in the UK. So yeah, 23 is not too late. I'd say most ages are not too late. You look at Don Heatrick, he managed to be UK ranked, I believe, number 3. At 43, I could be wrong there, I need to check that, but there are people in the sport who they just did it because they wanted to do it. They didn't care about their age and they achieved so much in their career. So yeah, no matter what age, go for it and set your sights on what you want to achieve. If that's an interclub, if that's a debut fight, if you want to be ranked, if you want to get a title, just stick with it and go with it. And I can do it, anyone can do it. Honestly, I was like a couch potato when I was 18, 19. I did not move my body. I thought sport was awful and this would just be my life. And I'm very glad I've overcome that now and I've found a sport that I love. But yeah, I feel like that was a lot of information and I'll try and cut this down and make it useful for you guys. But yeah, I just want to wrap up there. I hope that answers most of your questions. If you've got any more, pop them in the comments below. Please subscribe and click the little bell icon so you know when I've posted my next video. Please also like down below, and I'm not very good at this, but I'll need to make a script for this little outro. But on Instagram under FitIs and TikTok as well under FitIs. So yeah, I hope that answers your questions. I can't wait to get this out here and start this journey, really. Yeah, I think the next time I'll speak to you is when I'm in Thailand, which is mad. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good one and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.